Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Rendezvous. In continuation to my previous sessions on sentence construction, today we have the assertive sentence pattern and related to that the SVO structure. And later on we shall come on transitive and intransitive verbs and when intransitive verbs behave as transitive verbs with minute detail. So without further ado, let's start the session. So first, today we have assertive sentence pattern. Now, more than 80% of English sentences that follows English grammar adheres to this structure, this SVO structure. I will explain that by some examples. Assertive sentence pattern, what we have is subject. First we have subject, the verb follows the subject, and then we have object or complement, and then adverbials or prepositions and other words. For example, number 1, she reads Tagore. Here, she is subject, reads is the verb, and Tagore is object. Now, if you question the verb by what or whom, what you get is the object. So, if you question the verb here, she reads Tagore, what does she read? She reads Tagore. So, Tagore is the object. In sentence number 2, Amala Shankar dances. Here Amala Shankar is the subject and dances is the verb. Here you can see that there is no object, neither is there any adverbials or prepositions and other words. In example number 3, we have the boy draws diagrams. Here the boy is the subject, draws is the verb, diagram is again the object. If you ask the verb, what does the boy draw? The answer is diagram. So diagram is the object. Next we have, we consume rice as our staple food. I have not written that part as our staple food. The sentence written here is, we consume rice. We here is the subject, consume is the verb, and what do we consume? Rice. Rice is the object. Professor Roy took our class yesterday. So here Professor Roy is the subject, took is the verb, the main verb, and our class is the object. If I question the verb, what did Professor Roy take? The answer is our class. So our class is the object. And yesterday is the adverbials here. In the next example, we have, they played cricket at the Edens. Now here, they is the subject, played is the verb, and what did they play? Cricket is the answer, so cricket is object. And at the Edens here is prepositions and other words. So, in recapitulation to my previous sessions, here these sentences follow the SVO structure. Subject is that part of the sentence that does the work of the verb. Object is that part of the sentence on which the work of the verb is done, or should I say, if we question the verb by whom or what, the answer we get is the object. And then we have adverbials and prepositions and other words. Now you will see that adverbials and prepositions and other words, this part of that sentence is not followed by all the examples. This part has been left vacant by some of the sentences. So that part is not mandatory. What is mandatory is the SVO structure. Or should I say even object is not mandatory. But there must be a subject and a verb in multi-worded sentences. Now, I shall come to transitive and intransitive verbs. Because we are studying SVO structure, we are studying verbs. So, when we are studying verbs, we have to know what is transitive verb and what is intransitive verb. Transitive verbs are those which take objects, verbs which have objects. For example, I am reading Amitav Ghosh. Here, I is the subject. I is the subject. Am reading is the verb part, and Amitav Ghosh is object. Here, Amitav Ghosh means some work of Amitav Ghosh. Example number 2. Brutus stabbed Caesar. Brutus is the subject, verb is stabbed, and here Caesar is object. Example number 3. I have bought a new book. I is the subject, have bought is the verb, a new book is the object part. So you can see that all of the above examples have object. So in these examples, the verbs, in the first example am reading, in the second example stabbed, and in the third example have bought, all these verbs have taken objects. So these verbs are transitive verbs. And then intransitive verbs, verbs which do not take objects, verbs which do not have objects. For example, the baby is sleeping. Here the baby is the subject, is sleeping is a verb part, is a verb, and then there is no object, the object part is vacant. In example number 2, the man is the subject, was walking is a verb part. So there also is no object. And example number 3, the sun is the subject part, shines is the verb, brightly is of course adverb. So here also is no object, the object part is lying vacant. So you can see in these examples, the verbs have not taken any objects. So these verbs are called intransitive verbs. Now the question is, can intransitive verbs in some instances take objects? Can intransitive verbs behave as transitive verbs in some cases? We shall study that with examples. Well, the answer is yes. In some cases, intransitive verbs can behave as transitive verbs by taking objects. There are 3 cases where these type of taking verbs can happen. Number 1, when the verb takes cognate object. Verb takes cognate object. Suppose I say, we slept a sound sleep. Here, we is subject, slept is the verb which is supposed to be intransitive verb, but here this intransitive verb has become a transitive verb. Now slept is here the verb. Now if you notice, you will see that there is some connection between this and this, slept and sleep. These words sound familiar. with each other. These words, they seem to look like each other. Yes, they do, because these two words have come from same root. So these kinds of objects are called cognate object when the verb and the object share the same root. So here we can see that this intransitive verb has taken a cognate object and has become a transitive verb. Like this, we can also have she dreamt a sweet dream. Here you can also see this verb dreamt and dream. Dream, sweet dream is the object. Here dream and dreamt, these have connections because these two words share the same root again. So dream is a cognate object which the seemingly intransitive verb has taken and has become a transitive verb. So here we have discussed when the verb takes cognate object. Number 2, case number 2. We shall move on to case number 2. When the verb expresses causative sense. Suppose I am saying the baby walks. Here the baby is the subject and walks is plain and simple the verb. There is no object that you can see. So walks here is intransitive verb because it does not have any object. But if I say mother walks the baby, the verb is same, walks. The same verb as you have seen in this sentence, the baby walks. The verb is same, but here the subject is mother and the same verb that you have seen in the previous sentence, the baby walks. And where the walks verb was intransitive verb, the same verb here has expressed an object, the baby. So the same verb which was here intransitive here has become transitive because it now expresses a causative sense. Now moving on to case number 3. When the verb is a phrasal verb. When the verb is a phrasal verb. Now coming to example in this case, if I say Jatin laughs loudly. Here Jatin is subject, laughs is verb, this is adverb. So in this sentence there is no object, so this verb is intransitive verb. Now in the next instance I am using the same verb but the sentence will mean a different sense. If I say Jatin laughs, if I say Jatin laughs at the lame man. Here also Jatin is the subject, laughs at is the verb, and here you can see the verb has taken an object and has become a transitive verb. The same verb which was intransitive in the previous sentence, Jatin laughs loudly, the same verb has become a transitive verb in this instance. This is transitive verb. Because this verb has taken an adverb component here. This is the adverb component and has become a phrasal verb. So we have seen the three cases where intransitive verbs takes objects and become transitive verbs. So this much for this session. If you like my content, please hit the like button and press the bell icon, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.